State of Video Games 2023. So I wanted to make a video talking about how my perspective on video games is right now in 2023. So in the future, when I get nostalgic about, video games back in the day were so much better, I can have something to look at where I comment some of the good and some of the bad that I see right now, instead of remembering everything with rose-colored glasses and something like that. So I wanted to start with talking about GTA Online, because it's a game that's been released for like 10 fucking years. I bought it in September 2013 for PS3. Then they released online October 2013, and it's been going since now, and it doesn't seem like it's going to stop anytime soon. There are guides how to start on GTA Online 2023. It's basically a whole mess. There are videos so you know which kinds of missions you have to play in order to know which DLCs were released and at what time. Videos coming back to GTA Online, a lot of videos of just random races, stuff like that. Articles about the new things that they are releasing. Basically, it's fucking insane that this game is been going on for 10 years, like 10 years. I was 15 when they released this game. I bought it for PS3. I pre-ordered it. When I was 14, I was watching the trailer, and I uploaded the trailer to my YouTube channel because I was so fucking excited. And now I'm 25 years old. I've graduated university, and it's taken me a bit longer than expected. I should have a job by now. I have classmates who have like 2 master's degrees and have been working for 2 years at some job. And this game is still going on. Crazy. I wanted to start with that because it's insane for me. And I want me from the future to remember that GTA Online was there for 10 years, and maybe it's still going. Who knows? Oh yeah, and it's basically powered by microtransactions. People who spend money for items in the game are basically keeping that cash machine going, and Rockstar, the developer, doesn't want to stop. So yeah, it makes sense that it's going because of that. Okay, the next thing is that some part of AAA games seems to be these kind of FIFA games that also are powered by microtransactions, I guess. And people get excited about these cards, and even in TV shows, this is some player, an actual football player, and he's getting shown some other player's FIFA card with the scores and stuff like that. And whenever some people who play football go to this show, they always get like their card commented. So it must be something big. I don't watch a lot of football, but it seems it's big enough that it's gotten into my radar. So yeah, this is something I wanted to comment on. Next thing I wanted to comment was that it's not about this is the next thing. It's that every AAA game seems to have some trouble on release date on PC because people complain. Yeah, it isn't optimized apparently, and people complain. And on Reddit, the first day after a game is released, it's either people complaining about microtransactions on their games, or people complaining about the game not being correctly optimized for PC. Yeah. And the next thing is that on PC, graphics cards are so fucking expensive. The 470, this is some kind of mid-range, newer generation card, 670 euros. These are the low end, 370. These are the last generation mid-tier, almost 600. Fucking insane. TI, 1000. And yeah, even then the high end, I don't even want to check. Yeah, 1300. And this is the high end, but they are the TI versions. I don't know if they are still there. But yeah, and this isn't even the top high end because there are 4090s, I think. Well, they exist. I'm not sure if they are real, but they exist. Yeah, almost 2000. Crazy. Now the good things, some good things. This is, for example, a game that got super viral on Twitter, so 231,000. This hasn't been released yet, but it's gotten a lot of hype because it's like really realistic, right? People weren't believing that it was a game, I guess. Well, they were believing it, but they were like, damn, this looks really good. And it's like, I wanted to comment on this fact that the things that are more realistic and that are being like shown as, damn, this is top-notch technology right now, this is like cutting-edge stuff, isn't VR, for example. It isn't some kind of super realistic thing on VR, but it's some super realistic thing on, I guess, legacy or regular media, but by doing some small tricks, like using this kind of body cam style footage. So this is playing on cop videos that get leaked and stuff like that. So that it has this kind of grimy, realistic element to it, kind of dark. And it's an indie developing studio, right? So the most impressive release in graphical terms hasn't been released by a AAA studio, but by an indie studio. It's basically super impressive. Things aren't necessarily VR by AAA, but kind of counterintuitively maybe something from an indie studio on regular media, right? So this is realistic because it's being shown on kind of on screens and stuff like that, right? Instead of on your headsets and stuff like that. I think I explained myself somewhat poorly, but yeah. And then conversely, on VR, there are still things happening, but the advances that are happening in the space are more like puzzle type things, figuring out new ways to go around the constraints of the VR space and stuff like that, right? So yeah, keeping the player in the play area has a lot of challenges, and by doing some tricks you can make the experience better. But it's not, the point isn't to be mega immersed in this environment, because the environment itself isn't like particularly realistic or gritty or anything like that in this demo. There are other demos that are like that, but yeah. But the challenges and the innovations happening in VR are what, as I see them, in this thing, in these kind of things. Then I wanted to talk a little bit about how indie games are basically what keeps the thing moving for me. For example, Stardew Valley, I don't even own it, but yeah, some of the games where I've put a lot of hours kind of lately, if anything, they have been like more or less small releases that got maybe a little bit of attention or some traction because of some streamers, something like that. And yeah, they are still pulling in views, they get a lot of attention, they're nice. This is kind of what makes the space alive for me, I would say. And on this, I wanted also to comment on some kind of content creators, because I watch a lot of YouTube rather than play games. I watch stuff about games. So this is a guy developing his game, and yeah, this is from kind of a genre of video called devlog, developer vlog. So they basically talk about what their decisions are while making the game, while the game isn't still made. But yeah, it's kind of a way of getting traction to your future game, stuff like that. And I think it's a good idea, and I watch a lot of it. Well, not a lot of devlogs, but I watch these guys' devlogs, and for example, he built some tech demos on and made videos about it, and that project has been expanding, and this guy also started making devlogs. So yeah, it seems like a genre that's starting to pop up with a lot of interesting things, that things are emerging from that, and I like it. This is something that keeps the space alive for me. And the last thing, I wanted to shout out John Carmack. This guy is founder of ID Software. So yeah, he was involved in all this stuff, and he is on Twitter active and talks a lot about things. I like him. And he yesterday, while I was writing this script, I was browsing Twitter as well, right? So I saw this tweet and I wanted to show it here because this is some kind of thing that talked about the PC ecosystem and how this is a nice part, right? It's nice that you can just download all games. So even if the new games are full of microtransactions and shit like that, you can still go play the old games fine, even with even better graphics than the games had before, thanks to stuff like that. You can emulate a lot of things. Yeah, so basically, gaming it's still nice to be involved in that. And yeah, he downloaded Quick 3, and it still works. Yeah, there are people who have gotten the games to work because it isn't something that would happen naturally, right? People have ported it to Steam, I guess, or made the necessary things for it to work on modern systems, which is nice. Then I wanted to talk a little bit about what games I play. And for example, the only game on Steam I've played this year, I think, has been BeamNG. And I have a total of 15 hours on the game. Not all of them this year, obviously. So, yeah. The game I've played the most has been GTA 5. It's been for the fucking years working, so yeah. I played it the last time Christmas last year. I'd also been playing a lot of Valheim, but a couple of years ago. Well, a year and a half. Damn. This hits. I hadn't realized time went so fast. Oh, I've also played some PUBG, true. The games I play the most often are PUBG with some friends, Valorant also with some friends, and in this Epic store, Fall Guys. No, fuck, I've started it. Okay, so this was all I wanted to say. This has been the state of video games in 2023, according to me. There are a lot of games that I haven't mentioned, basically most games. And I don't know, you can tell me what do you think about games below. As you can see, I barely play any games. But yeah, I still consider myself a gamer. I still like games. I keep up with, I guess, what's happening in my particular bubble, and this was this bubble. So yeah, you can tell me what your bubble is in the comments, or you can tell me recommendations for games according to what you've seen me talk about, or what do you think we will think in the future about this, or all these are open questions. Yeah, and if I'm watching this in the future, how are games now? Do I still play games? What age am I? Am I 35 years old? Am I 45 years old? Am I a 45-year-old gamer? Have I gotten rid of games altogether? Are games something much different? Do people still play Pokemon Go? Is GTA 5 online still going? Are mobile games now something that even more adults do, or that older people do? Do I have kids? And what do they play? We will see. And yeah, this is part of our 100 video series. This is video 52, 53, I think. You can check the rest out around here, and bye.